Good morning, virtual villagers. Welcome to my session on sunflower plaque. I'm Kate from What Kate Made, here in my home studio. I apologise for the light being a bit weird, but the sun keeps going behind clouds and kind of like changing the light in here, but hopefully you'll be able to see everything okay. So what we're going to make today is a sunflower plaque, and this is a nice bit of summery decor for your inside or outside, depending on how waterproof you make it. So this is the sort of thing we're going to make. Our sunflower here is made from ribbons and a bit of fabric in the middle, ribbons for the stem, and then at this side, again, I apologise for the light. I've got these are rub-on stickers with a transparent background, and they're all pictures and phrases with sunflowers on them. So the whole thing, what I've used here behind, because I like to use up bits and pieces that are just lying about, is a piece, actually, I don't know what you can see from the back, it's actually a piece of laminate flooring. Now we had our floor redone, and there was also little offcuts like this, so I kept them because they're lightweight, strong, and they've got a nice wood grain on them, and they're just lying about. They're just, waiting to be used. Now I haven't put any holes in this one. What I might do is put a hanger on the back and just mount it on the wall. So I'm going to show you what I've got and how to make this. It's very, very simple. It uses up bits and pieces. I mean, the only thing that I've purchased on this one are these rub-on stickers. And I bought them a job lot for another project. So they're really, just extras. I'm just going to try and get all your comments up so that I can see what's going on. Just bear with me a second. There we go. I've got you up live, so if you're out there, give me a wave, give me a shout. Right, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to use. So that was a piece of wood with a nice wood grain on it. So I've just left it as it was. But the one I'm going to use today, just want to make sure I've got everything. I've painted it. It's just got a little bit of sticker stuck on it. I'll just try and peel that off. So it was a piece of just hardboard. I know it's a bit difficult with the light to see that. And what I've done is painted it on this side. I've painted it with acrylic paint. So I mixed some yellow and white to make a sort of paler yellow, and I've put some streaks on it of brown ochre while it was wet and just brushed it on. So I've got almost a wood effect. You can see better now with the sunlight on it. Almost a wood effect, but it's bright, nice and bright, and I'm going to use that for my base. Once again, I haven't put holes in it, but you can either put holes in and put string through, or you can put one of those wall mounting little things on the back and mount it on the wall. But that's our wood. For the sunflower, I'm going to use a wooden ring like this. This is actually not wood, it's plastic. It's from a curtain hanging thing. Whenever I see these in charity shops, I get them because they're ideal for all sorts of little things. And the little sort of ribbon wreath we're going to make the outside of our sunflower, they're great for that, for Christmas and everything. I make all sorts out of these. So that's another thing. I've also got selection of ribbons in like yellows, golds. I had some orange in the one I made yesterday, but I haven't got orange today because I used it all. And I've also got a bit of jute string that might be nice in it. So that's to make our sunflower. Now on this one, the center of the sunflower, I used a bit of this very, very sort of 70s brown patterned fabric. It was a little bit difficult, and I thought today, if you haven't got, because I sewed that on the sewing machine, if you haven't got a sewing machine, it's a bit difficult to sew a little sort of cushioned bit. So instead, I'm going to use some brown felt, and I'm going to glue it on. So that's what we're going to make our. Oh yeah, the other thing is I've got some gingham ribbon to make the leaves and stalk out of. Now, as for lettering and stickers, on mine, I used the stickers to make the lettering. Now, these are the stickers I used, and they came in a mixed pack. They're just the right sort of size. They're all sunflower themed. I was using them for another project. So we've got things like Be My Sunshine and choose to shine. So things like that, inspirational phrases. I'm not going to use these. I may use one of the picture ones. So that's quite a nice one with the sunflowers and the butterflies on. But for the lettering, I decided to use alphabet tiles like this. And I'm just going to put the word sunflower on it. And so that's what I'm going to use for the lettering. Now these you glue on, they don't have a sticky back. Some of the ones you get have a sticky back. So apart from the usual scissors, glue, etc., that's all we need to make this lovely sunflower plaque. Now I'm just going to turn the camera down so you can see what I'm doing. I've got my glue gun already heating up, so that's the other thing you need. Let me turn the camera down and move it back. Excuse me, my camera's not going down far enough. Right, just bear with me a second. I'll move it further back. There we go. You can see me now. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay, so we're going to start with the ring, making the actual sunflower bit. So this is our little curtain ring. I'm going to take this little cup hook off the top. Now, as you just simply knot them round it. Yesterday I made a sort of loop like that, and then put that through my ring, and then put the ends through the loop and did it that way. But you do need quite a long piece of ribbon. Now these pieces of ribbon I've cut are, let me see, they are about 20 centimeters. You want to like intersperse them round a bit. Once you've knotted it on like that, what you need to do is put a little dab of glue, because they slide around on the ring. So we're putting a little dab of glue underneath the knot just to hold them in place. I'm going to start with the wider ribbons just because they take up more space. So as you can see, I've got lengths of ribbon in various different colours already cut. These are quite wide, so when you knot them, they make a bigger knot. I'm going to do these first, and then I'm going to put the narrow ribbon in between. Right, so let me just make sure my glue's hot enough. Right, so I'm going to get started. I'm going to try not to, that's you see, made a joke there. Put two colours together. So I'm going to just, as I say, tie the knot, put a little dab of glue just where the knot is, just a tiny bit. Be very careful. Sorry, I looked like I was going to shoot then. So a tiny dab of glue right there, and that will just hold it in place. Don't get it on your fingers. That's what I was trying to say before. I'm always burning myself with a glue gun, and I never learn, and I still do the same thing time and time again. That's knotted the wrong way. Make sure that your knots are going the same way. So that means, I think for mine, it's got the loop on the outside. I think that's the right way. And then you pull the ends through. Yeah, that's it. So some of the thicker ribbons will be more difficult to knot because they'll spread further apart. So I'm trying to push them together. We've got a few people watching this morning. Hello, Marie and Maureen. Let me know if you're there. Give me a shout or a wave. So this one's going to prove a little bit difficult to glue, but I'll try. You just need a little bit of glue to just hold the knot really, so they don't come undone. So I'm going to work my way around, and that one's a bit long. Don't worry about the length. If some of your ribbons are long, we're going to trim it before we stick it on anything to make sure that they're all more or less the same length. I'm going to just keep going with the ribbons and try and keep them spread out a little bit as well, and I'll fill the gaps in with the narrower ribbons. Might move that one along a little bit and put one. I've got lots of this ribbon. I haven't got so much of the other ribbons, so the ones I've got a lot of, I'll put in more frequently. You can do this with all sorts of ribbon. As I say, it's really nice. It's actually very nice at Christmas. Hi, Dolly. what was I saying? Oh, Christmas. They're nice at Christmas if you do them with like Christmassy coloured ribbons and it make like a little wreath. You can add holly and hello, Caroline. There's quite a few people out there today. That's nice. We do like to have a lot of people watching. I'm just going to keep tying knots and gluing ribbons all the way around. I've just about used up my bigger ribbon now. So when I painted the wood yesterday, I just used craft acrylic. I quite often will buy, if I see a set of acrylic paints in tubes, you know, in I don't do a lot of painting, but I do like to have painting. So if you see them in like a craft shop or, you know, somewhere a little bit cheaper. Now I've got this really nice glittery gold ribbon. I'll put that on my other one. I quite like that. I always buy them because I just use acrylic paints for crafts. I don't really use them. I'm not a painter as such, although I do a little bit. So it doesn't matter if they're only cheaper ones. That might not be suitable for like proper sort of a proper painting, if you like, but they're quite good for crafts. Would you believe I had my first trip to the range? I've been a lifelong crafter and I've never been to the range before. So I was quite... I seem to be getting some spam on. I don't know whether my my director today can have a look at this on my feed. Now this one, because it's a little bit short to do the loop thing, I'm just going to tie it in a double knot. It works just as well. You just get your okay, so that's my bigger ribbons. Some are a bit loose. So now I'm going to fill in the gaps. Ow, just burnt myself as usual. I'm going to fill in the gaps with the narrower ribbons and make it bulk it out so it looks more like a sunflower. Now these are just ribbons that I recycle a lot of ribbons. I pick a lot of ribbon up again when I see it in craft stores for reduced or anything like that, and I have them all in a little haberdashery section in my craft room, which sounds a bit posh, but really it's just a shelf with lots of little drawers and things on it with all my bits and pieces in. I've recently become a lot more tried to become a lot more organized, because whenever I want something I can't find it and I go out and buy new, which is just crafters all over, isn't it? So I'm trying to be a bit more organized so that I can see what I've got and I don't go buying new stuff. Yeah, wooden curtain rings will be fine, Caroline. I do have wooden ones as well. As I say, when I see them anywhere in a junk shop or, you know, at car boot sale, I always pick them up. I have metal ones, wooden ones. This one is plastic, but I do have some wooden ones as well. You can buy rings if you haven't got any. I'm burning myself on the glue now. If you haven't got any to hand, but as I say, I am a hoarder craft wise. I pick bits and pieces up wherever I go and keep them. I think, oh, that'll come in handy, as you do. Typical crafter. Now this is taking quite a lot of ribbon to fill the gaps in. Although they look spread out now, once I trim them as well, they will it'll sort of bulk together a bit more. So I'm nearly using up all my ribbon. Trying not to burn myself again on the glue. Honestly, if I ever disappear, turn up as a body washed up on the shore, they won't be able to identify me by my fingerprints because I don't have any left now. I've been glued that many times. No, I don't really mean that. I don't think I'll get washed up on the shore. So you keep going round and round and round until it starts to look really full and like a sunflower. I've just got 2 more bits of ribbon to tie in, so I think I'll call it a day then. When I said about not getting 2 bits together, I actually have got 2 bits the same together, but I need to fill a gap in. Now, let me just one more bit in there, and we'll be done. So, how's the weather been for you today? We've got very mixed sunshine and clouds today. No rain forecast, which is quite nice. It was rainy yesterday and very, very cold. Right, I'm just about done with my ribbons. So there we go. It is untidy, but I'm going to trim round it now, because the shorter the ribbon, the more likely they are to stand up by themselves, if that makes sense, because quite often as they get longer, like that one, they're very floppy. So, ow, I keep burning myself. I will never learn. So I'm just going to take my big sharp scissors, and I'm going to start by cutting off maybe a centimetre and a bit, and I'm going to try and cut all the way around. It doesn't have to be perfectly even. That's part of its charm. That ribbon was a bit stubborn. But what we want to do is get fairly even. I'm going to rush through it today, but obviously if you've got more time at home, you could spend more time. You could add more ribbon. I might add a few pieces of the jute twine and try and... Don't worry about ragged ends. They add to the charm, I think. Any little offcuts of ribbon like this, same with little offcuts of fabrics and felts, I save them and use them for stuffing. If I'm stuffing toys or something, I don't like to waste anything. Probably cut my ribbons just a little bit long for this. You can cut them if you've time. You can cut them into points as well, so they look more like petals. Let me just get rid of that. Those little bits of ribbon into my bag of bits. Okay, so you can see now that I've cut it shorter, it's looking a little bit more like... I've got a loose ribbon there. I might need to just put a dab of glue on that one. So it's looking more like a sunflower. As I say, if you've got more time, which I'm a bit short of time, well, obviously we're time constraint here. I said I would try a bit of this jute twine. I'm just going to cut that into 3, that length, and put some of these on, because this is quite nice to add a little bit more of a rustic effect. This is just garden twine, by the way. Got it for tying up my tomatoes. I don't have a very big garden, but I do like to grow some fruit and veg in it. And yesterday I picked my gooseberries. I have one gooseberry bush and I got 3 pounds of gooseberries off it, would you believe? I thought it was the most I've ever got off it. It was literally bowed under the weight of them. So they're all in my freezer now. There's only me likes gooseberries, so I freeze them and then I use them when... Oh, my daughter-in-law, she likes them. And when they come for a meal, my son and daughter-in-law, I make her and me a gooseberry crumble. Right, I think I'll call that finished. Okay, so starting to look like a sunflower a little bit. Now, the centre of the sunflower, as I said before, I made a fabric, like a little round cushion. It worked, but I tried gluing it first, because I tried not to use the sewing machine, so that, you know, people watching it, if they don't have a sewing machine, can still make the things I'm making, but it really didn't work very well. So I'm going to use this brown felt. I've already, I don't know whether you can see that, but I've already drawn a circle on it, and I drew around the outside of my curtain ring, and I'm going to double it up. So I'm just going to double the fabric over and cut out two circles the same size. So I've only drawn one circle, so I'm going to double it over and then just cut round that and get 2 circles the same size out of it. I'm probably not going to stuff it. Don't worry about your cutting skills, because this, in nature, nothing's ever exactly round. What I'm going to do is glue one circle on one side and one on the other. So I'm going to just pop some glue on the back of my sunflowers. My glue sticks run out. I'll put another one on in a minute. Make sure I haven't got the pen side showing. It's like, what's the definition of madness? Doing the same thing over and over again. And that's what I'm doing because it hurts. I know it hurts and I'm doing it again. I keep touching the glue. Right, so I'm going to put some on the other side. And now it's all stuck to my fingers. And just give that a little bit of a tidy up. And there we go. There's our sunflower. In fact, I always go the wrong way with the camera and I'm trying to get it in the light so you can see better. Bring it a bit closer. Just trim off these odd little ends of ribbon that are sticking up. Flatten it out. I think you can't go too far with this trimming. You've got to, you know, there is a time when enough's enough. As I said, don't worry about fraying ends because that adds, I just want to get it quite even. That adds to the charm of it. Okay, stop now. Right, so we'll start assembling. We've got our piece of wood with the nice sort of, what do you call it, distressed effect, I would think. Okay, I'm just wondering what's going to be the best way to, I might want to prop that up a little bit so you can see. How's that? That better? Hi, Tricia. So, I think I'm going to put my sunflower there with the stalk down there and the leaves. And then I might put my, now remember this is a transparent sticker on a white background. I might put that up that corner or down in that corner, I don't know. And then I'm going to put the word just says sunflower. So I will put it like that. S-U, because it's going to tip up, they're all falling off now. I can't find my N. There we go. So I'll do sun that way, and then flower down there, and then there's a sticker in that. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm gonna have to lay it flat because I'll not be able to do it with. So I'll do the sticker first, just to show you how these work. Excuse me, I've dropped my. Now my pack of stickers came with this tool. It's just like spatula. It's just for rubbing them on. So these, you'll be pleased to have a peel off backing. So you're going to watch me now. It's very painful watching me peel things off. Although my nails have grown a little bit now. So the other week we were doing double-sided tape. I could not get the backing off it. I'm sure everybody starts sighing at home. So you can see my sticker is transparent. So I'm going to place it. Let me pull that back a bit so you can see. In this bottom corner, right up against the edge. If I go slightly up, I just want the edge of the picture to be on the edge of the wood. So there will be a slight overlap with the plastic, but that's okay because I can trim that off afterwards. So you smooth all the air bubbles out of it. Then you take your plastic tool and you just rub it. That's why they're called rub-ons. And you rub over the design, covering every bit, gets the air bubbles out, and it also sticks the actual design onto the board. Now, it's not waterproof, this, the stickers. So if you were using these stickers on something you wanted to go outside, you have to give it a coat of varnish. So you just peel off now the plastic front, and it leaves behind your design. Oh, that one's not quite. Sometimes when you're peeling it, a bit will come off that you don't want to come off. So you just put it back down and rub over it again. It doesn't leave any residue in between. It's not peeling my paint off. It's the first time I've done it on a painted surface, so I've been putting them on glass and all sorts of things. I've been making plaques for the garden with like a little phrase on. So that's what I bought them for. So there we go. Oh. So there's our little sunflower design. Whoops, can I get it closer so you can see? So you can see it's gone on really well. It looks like it's been painted on. They're really good if you can't paint, and I can't paint. So the next thing is the stem and the leaves. So you can use a green ribbon. Because this is quite a big plaque, I thought I'd use this nice gingham ribbon. So I'm going to do a stem going up about there. So I'm going to cut that I'm going to cut a long piece because it'll go behind my sunflower. Oh, these scissors have got a blunt spot in them. And I want to get that equidistance between the edge and the edge of my sunflower, so it's going to, my sticker, so it's going to go there. I'm just going to put some glue up and then put that on. Like that. Okay, so that's dead easy to do. Right, to make the leaves, I'm going to tie a bow. So I like to do my bows like this. So you make 2 loops and then you tie them in a knot. And for some reason, don't ask me why, because I don't know why. It just, somebody showed me how to do this. You get a bow like that. So both of the long bits are at the bottom, and you don't always get that. So I'm just going to even up the knots so that the loop bits are the same size. They're actually a tiny bit big there. Just shorten them a little bit, because what I want is like so they look like a leaf. And then I'm going to cut these bits, these long tails, I'm going to cut them quite short and close to the actual bow bit. So let's see, is that too big? I think that's about right. So you can see, I'll glue that on and then show you. I'm going to put a bit of glue on the back of the bow. Make sure I get it the right way around. And I'm going to put it about halfway up the stem, so it's not covering my sticker. So that's my stem and leaves. It's very simple, this, once you start assembling it. Just looking at the time, we've got plenty of time. So our sunflower is going to go roughly there. We don't want it really over the edge, but we want to leave enough room to put our tiles on. So I'm going to just glue again around the edge of my the ring in my sunflower. The glue gun's getting a bit, it's not grabbing the new glue. There we go. And place that again. So I'm not trying not to touch it so that my ribbons aren't going over the edge, but there we go. I like this. I'm really enjoying this craft. I belong to a community garden group, and we're having a sale. We had a plant sale in May and it was really successful. We've got a few extra plants, so we're going along to our local gala and we're having a stall. But because we haven't got a lot of plants, a few of us have done some crafty bits. So we've done like string plant hangers, and I've made little things like this and little garden signs. So we've got a few sort of garden related craft bits to sell, to raise money for the garden. Right, so time for our letters. So our letters are going to go here. So it's going to say sunflower. So these are wooden tiles. I have 2 types of tiles. I'll show you the other one. I have these, which are more like a plywood, and they've got a sticky pad on the back, so they're sort of 3D. But I've got these other wooden tiles that I bought separately, and they're more like a proper piece of wood, so they're quite thick. So you don't get that slightly raised effect, but that they're nice. I think that they're a bit better quality. Now what I am going to do is, where's my pencil? I'm going to draw a faint line. I'm not very good at lining things up, so what I'm going to do is draw a faint line. I'm going to line like that for my top word, and then I'm lining up the lines on my ruler with the edge of the board, so I get a nice straight line. I'm not very good at doing things straight. I'm just a very faint pencil line. I can rub that out later, but it will help me line my letters up. So I'm going to put S, U, leave a little gap in between them, N, there, and then actually I'm going to move that along a bit so it lines up with that vertical line I've done, and then flower. And we just dab a bit of glue on the back and make sure your letters are the right way up, because they've all got those little Scrabble numbers on. You want to have, because particularly things like an O, I mean, it's obvious if you've got a W the wrong way up, but not if it's an O or an E. Seem to have gained an extra E somewhere. There we go. So take my glue gun again, and now that I've got these placed, I'm just going to dab them with glue. Doesn't take very much, and line them up with my pencil lines, which I'm going to rub out after we've finished. So both of these, the one I made earlier and this one, I think I'm going to put in the sale at the plant stall, because basically I haven't bought anything new to make them. It's all been stuff that was lying around. So as my contribution, alongside the millions of seedlings I've got, I've never grown plants for the garden, summer bedding from seed before. And our community garden is trying to be more eco-friendly, not use things that use peat or a lot of plastic. So we decided to grow from seed this year. It's amazing. For a 99p pack of seeds, I've got about 50 plants. That would have cost me £10 to buy. I'm definitely going to do it again next year. And I've used less plastic, and I've used peat-free compost, and I haven't, you know, commercial bedding plants are grown in vast greenhouses that are heated and lit and quite environmentally unfriendly. So there we go. What do you think? I'm really pleased with that. I'm always really pleased when something works. They're very cute, and I'm sure I can raise a few pounds for the community garden with that, selling that at the sale. So a nice sunny start to June. Better turn my glue gun off before I do burn myself again, and it sticks to everything. I'll just bring the camera forward a little bit so I can say goodbye. Right, so I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you make your own. Pop me a picture either in the comments on here, or you can send it to my page, What Kate Made on Facebook. I'm on again in a fortnight's time. I'm doing something with seashells, so things you pick up off the beach to create a nice piece of art for your wall. So that's in 2 weeks' time. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you have a go. We always like to see people having a go at what we do. And if you watch on replay, give me a comment. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Goodbye, and enjoy the rest of your day.